Hi, I'm Katie.
I'm Douglas.
Nice to meet you. I'm going to be conducting your interview today for the head coach of the basketball team at Western. I'm going to go ahead and give you my business card.
Thank you so much. Here's my card and resume.
Oh, thank you. Okay. So how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good, good. I just want you to know that I'm going to ask you a couple questions, and I want you to give honest answers and be very thorough with what answers you give me.
Okay.
So, let's see. Starting out, will you tell me why you think that you would be a good fit for this position?
Yeah, so I think I'll be a good fit because I love the game of basketball. I've been playing for a really long time. And basketball has honestly become a platform for me to help other people, to help kids as I was growing up. But as a college coach, I'll be able to help young men become grown men and hopefully good members of society.
Okay, so how else do you think that you'd be able to help younger men grow into being better men?
Yeah, honestly, basketball specifically, but all of sports, they're really good teachers. I think accountability, teamwork, hard work, those are all things you learn from the game. And I think when you have a good coach that kind of brings those skills out of the game, it can really help those kids develop and young men develop into grown men.
Okay. All right, so moving on, what do you think makes you a great leader?
I think I'm a great leader because I've been in multiple leadership positions. And in the times I've been in leadership positions, my team or group that I've worked with has had very high levels of success. So I would just say my resume of being a leader has been very, very good.
Okay. So you've been successful as a team with basketball. What was your most successful year, you'd say? And why was it your most successful year?
So I won a national championship in AAU in high school, so that was really, really successful. I thought I was a great leader. We honestly had a group of great leaders, and I think the more leaders you have, the better your team will be. I think a strong characteristic someone told me once of a leader is instead of trying to gain followers, a leader's trying to gain leaders, and you're trying to teach more people to be leaders and go out. So that's kind of what we did, our philosophy.
Nice. Congrats on the win.
Thank you.
All right. Tell me a time when you had to lead a group of people, and how did you lead them well?
So an example of one of my leadership opportunities would be high school. I was a team captain of my high school team, and I honestly took the approach of just leading by example. I would make sure I'd come to practice early and stay late, just getting extra shots up. Really just showing the guys that the little details matter, and that if we wanted to be a championship team, that we had to put in extra time and do the hard work that a lot of guys aren't willing to do.
So would you say that your team members really appreciated you doing that and kind of followed that in a way?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the younger guys would see that, see the older guys kind of leading by that example, and then it's honestly just a tradition. So now those guys grow older and then they'll be leaders and help their younger guys. So it's just a continuation of appreciating what the guys setting ahead of you, and then the younger guys come in and continue it.
Right, I agree with that. Okay, so how would you discipline the team?
That's a great question. Discipline's a tough topic, especially with sports. I think there are a lot of different approaches, but if we're being completely honest, I think it comes down to playing time. I think everyone at the end of the day wants to play no matter how good you are. So when you have really good players that earn a lot of playing time, get in trouble or they're not following the team standards, I think you have to step up and be a strong coach and take away that playing time. Even if it costs you losing a couple games, I think your culture and what you're trying to establish as a coach is more important. And honestly helping those young kids kind of figure themselves out. So probably taking away their playing time.
Okay, so you would be okay with taking a couple losses if it meant bettering a person?
Absolutely, because I think you got to look at the long-term picture. I think short-term it would be hard to lose a couple games, but long-term you're helping those kids out for life, and you're also creating a culture of accountability.
Okay. All right, so how would you keep the members motivated?
It's a great question. I think motivation really just comes from kind of just establishing a winning culture. I think it's important to make sure that the guys all have one goal. They're not worried about their selfish ambition. They're worried about just winning. And so when you get that going, you start to have a lot of success. I think guys become really, really motivated internally and just want to win championships.
So you think that winning keeps the team motivated? Is there any other motivators?
I mean, I think there are a lot of motivators. I think if we're trying to get everybody on the same page, winning is definitely one where guys feel like they've been involved and a part of something special. It's definitely a good feeling from past experience to win games. It's something that's very special.
So how would you plan practices and workouts?
So I would normally plan practices and workouts during the season based off scouting reports. So I would look at upcoming opponents, do a lot of film breakdown and study kind of what they do offensively and defensively, and make the correct decisions and implement drills in our practices that would help prepare us for those situations. For example, if a team ran a lot of ball screens or if they were really good offensive rebounders, I would put in specific drills into practice that would help us be successful when we saw that in the game.
Okay, I think that's a great way to establish workout plans. And so I know as I was growing up and working out with my team, did you follow would you follow specific workout plans like CrossFit or anything like that, or would you would come up with your own set like that?
That's a great question. I think when you get to the college level, the fitness component of working out and the lifting and conditioning, strength and conditioning is so important that we would actually hire someone on staff to solely focus on strength and conditioning. That's a very common thing amongst college basketball programs, and I would leave that to him. Typically those guys are very well trained and educated in that field, and they'd be able to get our guys at maximum performance.
Okay, so get them where they need to be, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so how would you hire that type of staff or any other type of staff that you would need?
Yeah, so I think hiring for basketball is a little different than most business jobs. I think it's really important to really like who you're going to be with, because with basketball especially, you're going to be with these guys all the time. So it's important to hire guys you have strong relationships with. You're going to want to really admire their character and their morals and their ethics, really, because you want to make sure that the people you hire under you have the same mindset as you do.
I agree with that, definitely. Okay, so how would you say you are with giving constructive feedback, and what is the time you've given good constructive criticism?
So yeah, constructive feedback and criticism is an area I've definitely grown in as I've gotten older and more confident. I think that's a particular topic that can be difficult for a lot of people, but I think as you grow in the area that you're working in, you get more confident and you have a stronger ability to do that. A recent example is the company I work for, Big Shots. I was running an AAU tournament and I was in charge of the whole facility, and I walked in and in the corner of the gym I found one of my employees sleeping, which is obviously an uncomfortable situation to be in. I had to obviously wake him up, which again was a little awkward, and then kind of critique him and kind of tell him where he needed to do better in his job and make sure he was fulfilling his responsibility so we could keep performing at the way we needed to.
And what was his reasoning for being asleep on the job?
That's a great question. I think he obviously lacked a little bit of motivation to do a good job and give us quality work. I think I made it very clear that wasn't okay in our culture and our company, and that if that was going to continue, we would have to replace him, and it wasn't going to work for us.
Yeah, I would definitely say he wasn't very motivated if he's sleeping on the job. Okay, so do you have the requirements to be a college basketball head coach?
I do. I think college basketball, there are not a ton of official and formal requirements. I think obviously the more education you have, the better your resume will look. A lot of early coaches do grad positions. They'll do grad assistants, and it's a really good entry-level college job for getting into coaching. Obviously, getting a graduate degree will help your resume, but it's also just about really who you know, how you can network, and finding the right connections to get to the job.
I agree. Networking is very important. So this is my last question for you. So let's say you are in charge of 20 people. Organize them to figure out how many bicycles were sold in your area last year.
Wow, that's an interesting question. So I guess with the information given, it would be a little difficult to do that. I would personally enjoy having a little more knowledge on the actual area defined so I could get a better gauge of where I'm going to be searching. Also, kind of understanding the definition of a bike sale, whether that's all new bikes or used bikes or the combination of the two. But without that information, I would just probably divide the 20 people that are working for me against the area that I'll be looking for, and just hope the guys work really hard and encourage them to find the correct number of bikes.
That seems like an interesting approach to that. I definitely saw some problem solving and some deep thinking with that answer, so I appreciate that. Now, I'm just wondering, do you have any questions for me?
I do not. You've done a great job.
No questions. Alright, well I really appreciate you coming in, and I just want to let you know that we have a couple more interviews to do with some other people, but we will get back to you in a week and see if you will continue on in the process, but really appreciate you coming in.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.